Now, what is your full name?
Krista Kim.
Oh, Krista Kim. Okay. And where are you from? I know
I'm Canadian.
I know for you this one's a complicated question because of all your global travel.
Yeah, I am a global citizen. I was born in Canada. I'm from Toronto originally. And yes, I have lived abroad since university in Asia. I decided to sort of discover what it's like to live there after university. So I moved to Seoul. I lived there for 5 years, lived in Tokyo, lived there for 4, and I lived in Singapore for 5 years. And now I'm back in North America. Spent a lot of time in New York, of course, where I had my my first art studio in North America, and I did that for a year and a half. And now I'm raising my kids in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So now
I'm kind of surprised. I thought you were in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I did have my art studio in Brooklyn for a while, but it was a bit tricky with my children. Everyone thought here that it would be nice for them to grow up near family and near their grandparents and such. So, as a duty as a mother, I felt that it would be a good idea to relocate to Toronto, and now I'm here mostly for my kids, but I do a lot of traveling. I'm always traveling. I'm always in New York or Paris or Asia. So, I still produce out of New York. I still work out of New York, and I work out of Paris too. My agent, Michael Kramer, is located in, he's from Paris, so I'm there a lot nowadays. And but really, my reach is global. And but I'm kind of new to Toronto again. I feel like I'm a newcomer because the place has changed so much over the past 20 years, and so I'm just rediscovering the city, and I'm also working on creating an organic sort of Techism movement in Toronto. That's my goal.
Well, I hear that Toronto's on the cutting edge for lots of things like food and entertainment. So it seems like you might be in the right place.
It's so funny. I think that the timing is right because there are a lot of technology startups here. Like there's a really healthy ecosystem of tech companies, and there are a lot of creative people. There's a Soho House here too, which I'm a member of, and there's a lot of amazing creative artists and people involved in film production and in TV, and it's a very vibrant city. It's very multicultural. You have amazing food, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Now, how many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. They're 8 and 10, a girl and a boy.
Now, how do they inspire your creativity?
Good question. Actually, so I began my real artistic breakthrough during my divorce, which was
oh wow.
Yeah, I did, because I believe that it's a time of crisis where you really discover who you truly are. It's a great opportunity to really evolve as a person, and unfortunately things didn't work out with my ex-husband and I, but we have 2 amazing kids, and during that divorce I fell into a deep depression, and I was suffering from anxiety, and so in order to really be a great mom, I just felt like I had to get myself together. So I began to meditate, and I took up transcendental meditation. Now, little did I know that through my practice of transcendental meditation that I would experience an artistic breakthrough also. So really, through the practice of meditation, which I do daily, and I'm a huge proponent of, I felt that every aspect of my life, whether it is being a mother, being an artist, being a person, just being myself, it just made everything better, brought it to a new level.
Now, can you please tell me how your meditation process works?
Well, transcendental meditation allows you, through a mantra that you're prescribed, you go into a deep state of consciousness and right down into the unified energy field, which is where everything comes from. We're all energy, and everything in the universe pretty much is just energy. That energetic field that is profound and it's deep, and it's a spiritual thing. So you go down there, and you basically tap into this creative force of energy that is this creative force of intelligence, and where all things come from, and this collective intelligence too. So it's basically just repeating the mantra, and you go into this deep state of bliss. And then when you come out, you feel amazing. You feel like you've touched the sky. You feel refreshed, and it's amazing because your intuition grows, and I believe the intuition is sort of that connection that we have to something greater than ourselves. It's to that flow of information, that greater intelligence, and the stronger your intuition, the better decisions you make, especially creatively. You get so many amazing ideas and inspiration, and you go with it. You're confident in you have that sense of awareness and self-actualization, that self-awareness that's so strong that that this is something interesting, and I'm just going to run with it, and it turns out to be great. I mean, your hunches are everything. The intuition, it's incredible.
I've read that intuition is one of the gifts that is actually considered to be really female. Do you think that there's a gender associated with intuition?
Not at all. Perhaps women are more in tune to sort of people, and just sort of being more aware of, more empathetic. But on a deeper level, I believe that intuition is a gift of all human beings, and meditation is something that can really facilitate, that strengthening of intuition. I think everyone, I believe that if everyone were to meditate, and I strongly believe that everyone should, that the world would be a better place, because you cannot lie to people who meditate, because the intuition is so strong. You know what's right inside you. Your moral compass, your grasp on reality and what's real and what's not real is so strong that it's hard to fool a person, or you can't bullshit someone who meditates.
Now, do you sometimes just do a 5-minute meditation, or do you have a plan, or just whenever you feel stressed, you just take a moment just to be in the moment?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do it every morning. As soon as I wake up, first thing I do, I have to meditate, and then at the end of the day, I like to meditate too. But, if I'm in a particularly frenzied situation, it could be stress, it could be anything, I do take 5 minutes away, 10 minutes. In the morning and in the evening, I do 20 minutes, each session. But really, whenever you need it, whenever you need to feel better, you go into meditation, or even if you have an interview like I have here, I would definitely, I did meditate before calling you, because it just gives you that mental clarity.
And that's a good way to go about going through an interview.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yes.
No brain fog.
Mindfulness is such a big deal right now, and it goes hand in hand with meditation, as it's being in the moment and, of appreciating everything. Now,
no doubt.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I want to add that, we're so distracted. I mean, when you think about our generation right now, and future generations to come, we are bombarded with thousands of messages every day, and it's because we live in this world of digital consciousness where we're constantly communicating on our digital devices, and now it's like a whole construct of reality is a dual reality, like our physical reality and the digital reality. So we're grappling with so many different layers of information, and there's so many messages. Not all of them are real. Not all of them are meant to be good for you. A lot of them are manipulating. And I believe that's why mindfulness right now is so important. And I believe meditation is so important going forward, for the future of humanity. I think it's incredibly important to get as many people as possible onto the mindfulness thing, just so that we have a grasp on what it means to be human and to retain that humanity in our society.
And in order to maintain humanity, one must appreciate art.
Yes, and that's another thing. Yes, exactly. That creative expression of what it means to be human and understanding others and compassion and empathy. These are all universal expressions of art, whether it's music or visual or anything, poetry, movies, any creative expression is, it comes from a person and their experience. And when we watch it, we are forever changed.
Now, how many languages do you speak?
Officially, English is my first language. I also speak French. I speak Korean. Speaking Korean, I speak a little Japanese. Speak a teeny bit of Spanish. That's it.
That's so impressive. I knew that your list would be long.
Yeah, well, I enjoy learning languages. I believe that, they say that your brain, synapses and everything, the way you think changes when you speak a different language, and I believe it's true. It is absolutely true. But I love being able to speak in English, especially because I believe that English is the global language.
What do you think that?
Anywhere you go, people endeavor to speak English, any country. English is sort of like the universal language anywhere, the standard language, and that's a huge testament to the language itself and the history of the language and the culture. I think that it has had a profound positive effect on the world, and if you use it the right way, I mean, we're definitely we need a language that that sort of is universal. We need that. We need that one language, and I believe that English is that language. I think it's too late for the world to learn Chinese at this point.
Well, what a positive way to look at it, because a lot of people would say that people speak English because most Americans don't speak second languages. So I'm glad that you think that there's good that comes from this too.
Yeah, there is good because it's a standard language, and it is what it is. It's a beautiful thing to learn other languages too, because then you get to also think in another language and another way of life. I mean, if you're speaking French versus English, it's much more poetic. It's there's something that's it is more poetic and it's more romantic. And Spanish, is also I love how direct it is, the language, and how therefore direct the people are, and it's really incredible how culture and language influence one another.
Now, how did you get interested in art?
Oh, I've always been. I mean, I believe that artists basically are very curious people who hate routine, who are extremely easily distracted because everything around them is, you get inspiration from everything around you. You're highly visual or you're very sensitive to stimuli. And for me, I'm into what I'm doing now, like why I'm interested in being an artist now is because I think a lot of artists sort of forget the greater context of what art can do for their society and how they can make change. Right now, especially in this pivotal moment in history where digital technology has disrupted every aspect of how we live, and it will only perpetuate. For example, you have now self-driving cars that are going to come out into the market. You have people who are always constantly texting one another instead of calling each other now. Who sends letters? I mean, the way we interact and socialize is completely different. And the way we're going to be educated, all these things are massively disrupted. But what are the effects of these changes on our culture? we need more artists to be involved in that debate, in that conversation of scripting future culture now. Because I think that if there's too much, art is also institutionalized. It's a great thing in itself. But I think that, the old way, the institutionalized way of looking at art, what is art, that whole debate is still very much focused on painting and sculpture and this kind of thing. But I want to bring technology more into that debate. I want to bring technology into more into that dialogue about what art is, what art can be, and how we need to express what it means to be human in a digital context, because that is what's going to contribute to a better society. And that's important, because if we have all these technocrats and engineers and scientists pushing the boundaries of how we live and how we how we receive medical care, or how we do this and do that, but we're not filling that void with culture and beauty and poetry and this sense of humanity, then we're not basically reaching our maximum potential as a society. I don't want my children to follow a technology and not create for themselves. I want people to create, because this is what will facilitate free thought. You want free thinkers. You want people to be able to think over the technology and transcend it and use technology as a tool. Use it as a tool to better humanity. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing as an artist now. And so that's my MO.
Now, how did you get your training?
So basically, I studied political science in university, believe it or not. My parents, hardworking South Korean immigrants to Toronto, they really thought, you shouldn't be an artist because, you're going to starve, right? But I was, always creative, and so I could write. So I became a journalist for a while, and while living in Korea for the Korea Herald newspaper, and I did a lot of freelance writing. But it wasn't fulfilling to me. I was always mainly passionate about art, right? And all my friends are artists. All my friends are either singers or in entertainment. And I basically, after getting married and living in Japan, I was really, really Japan is a special place, because if you're an artist or a creative person, you're living in Japan, you cannot help but be inspired with everything around you, because these people know how to live with art. I mean, it's part of their lives. They live and breathe it, right? So I took some lessons there from a Japanese abstract artist who taught me how to paint, and it was very meditative. And Japanese art is very meditative. It's, it has this influenced heavily by Zen and Buddhism and spirituality. And I started there, and then I when I arrived in Singapore, I decided to pursue my master's in fine art, and so I did it. And this current study of digital is basically a continuation of my thesis. Digital consciousness was my thesis for my master's degree.
Now, where did you get your inspiration for your thesis and your art in general?
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm an abstract expressionist. Kind of, I don't plan what I create, and when I was painting, it was very much a foundation of meditation. My meditation facilitated that flow, that creative flow, and so I was able to paint in that manner. But then when I entered the master's program, all of a sudden I stopped painting. I just didn't want to paint anymore. And it was a bit of a crisis, because I was into my first term, and I told my supervisor, Malenko Pravaki, who's a painter, I'm like, listen, I don't want to paint anymore. He's like, are you crazy? Like, why are you changing your medium right now? And it caused all kinds of issues and complications for me and for the staff, how to handle me. so I decided just to use light. I wanted to work with light, and I'm like, no, I was so stubborn about it. And I told them, listen, I want to work with light. I want to work with digital. And the reason why is because I was always on my, I was always on my screen communicating with people on my WhatsApp and or emailing or like watching things on the YouTube or on my Facebook. And I thought, oh my God, like I'm no longer the same person before being introduced to this iPhone. My consciousness, the way I process information is different, and my consciousness is now digital. So I was like, okay, well, I have to use light because light is the new ink. Okay? And it's very sort of Marshall McLuhan, like the medium is the message, whereby any technology that we sort of adapt as human beings becomes an extension of ourselves. Okay? So like cars, an extension of our feet. Like a paintbrush is an extension of our hands and our minds. Well, the digital devices that we use are an extension of our consciousness because we are able to communicate across the world instantly, transcending time and space. Okay? Now that for me was very fascinating. And I thought, well, light, the speed of light, the whole behavior of light, everything about it, you have to study that and understand it in order to understand the greater context of how this technology and this medium can affect us. And that instant ability for us to communicate and to connect, that's the beauty of digital. And in fact, I think when the internet was first introduced, that was the whole, the whole purpose for the internet was to bring people together and knowledge and sharing and co-collaborating and cooperating and, creating this global village, if you will, this, ability to come together. But what it's become now is it's become, sort of like carved out real estate by Facebook and Instagram. It's become sort of like people have their turf and, they have their operations and they're controlling their planets. It's Planet Facebook. They're controlling their own planets, and people sort of have to subscribe to, to their rules, and the way they interact, social interaction. So, for me, it's like when I saw this, I was like, there's not enough art and free will and creativity and expression of what it means to be human in this arena. Like people are just blindly, signing up on a social media platform and becoming extremely addicted to getting likes and posting these pictures of a life that probably isn't even real. It's inauthentic. Where's the authenticity? Where's that expression of humanity? That's what's missing because you don't have artists and philosophers leading people, into a higher ideal of how to exist. Right now, it's basically just driven by, parameters of digital technology that we just blindly accept and adapt, and it's widespread. So art and philosophy really need to catch up here. It's a catch-up game because I don't think that many people are talking about it, and we need to talk about it because 50 years from now, if we don't have people talking about what it means to be human and creating that digital humanity, that space, we're going to have a future of children and future generations of people without empathy, like fascists, or people who just follow the rules, follow this, live stuck in a paradigm and can't think outside of the box. That's what I'm afraid of.
Do you think artists?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, please continue. Your question is going to lead into my next statement, I think.
I think so too. Do you think artists have a responsibility to be moral, political, socially engaged?
I think throughout history it has. I think that it does. I think that I think that art should have a higher purpose. I think you have a moral responsibility. If you're truly creating art,
now, do you think artists have a responsibility? Oh, I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
No, continue, please. What did you say?
I was saying, do you think artists have a responsibility to explain, contextualize their own art?
Not all. You can do whatever you want. I think that there's there are all kinds of artists out there, right? But I think that you should be responsible for what you make or what kind of ideas you put out there. I think that you should try to make, I mean, it's very cliche, but you should try and create art that creates a better world. That's at least where I come from, and that's where I operate from. But there are all kinds of artists out there, and this is simply what I deem to be important. I'm not asking everyone to be the same. I mean, I think that diversity and creative ideas from the entire gambit. It's important to have everything out there.
What kind of art excites you?
Art that communicates the sublime. Like when I stand in front of Rothko, I feel a sublime presence of the work. It lives. It has a life of its own. James Turrell, his light installations. You sit there and you really contemplate space and where and the light and you contemplate almost a spiritual experience. Or Monet, very spiritual. You stand in front of those colors and it's just you're mesmerized by the beauty of it. And then and then of course you contemplate, wow, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that this is produced. I'm moved by art that is like a miracle. Simple as that.
What kind of art bores you?
I don't think any art really bores me because art is really supposed to stimulate you. So, it's not, bored is not the word. Maybe dislike or repulsed by or, there's all kinds of art out there, right? But never boring. And that's a good thing about art. It's never boring because it always makes you think. And it should, or it's not doing its job. It should always make you think. It should never bore you. And it's not art.
Who are some current artists whom you admire?
I really like Corey Archangel is an artist that I admire because he really stepped up and said, okay, I'm going to use Photoshop and present my artwork as an art form, and it is art. And I think that was a brave thing to do. Of course, I respect Orpha Eliasson, James Turrell. I respect Japanese artists like Roji Ikeda, Tatsuo Miyajima. I'm a big fan of Japanese artists, and yes, I mean, I also, I love a lot of contemporary painters. I love painters. It's just, for me, I just think that not all of us should paint, and I think that painters can put aside the paintbrush and experiment with technology, and why not? There's virtual reality, you do collaborative projects. There's all kinds of things you can do with the technology that's out there. It's just simply a matter of sort of like stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Do you think you'll ever paint again?
Probably. Right now, I'm not interested. I'm just really sort of like focused on what I'm doing, creating my work and advocating, for Techism and to get other people involved and to bring the awareness of the importance of art and digital. Right now, I can't say I never will, but I still draw, I still doodle, I still sketch when I have the time. But really I'm focused on digital and the next thing and the next project, what the next innovation that I will adapt. And I have engineers that I collaborate with, and I'm always thinking of new projects that are coming down the pipeline. So yeah, painting is not really my priority right now. It's just there are other things.
Now, please tell me about Techism.
So Techism, yes, is very unique to this time period where we are experiencing perhaps one of the biggest, the biggest disruption in human civilization because of digital technology and the information age. I mean, humanity is never going to look the same. So, these disruptions are not only wide, far-reaching and global, but they are exponentially fast. So, because of these disruptions, you have a lot of people who are nervous and afraid, and there's a lot of fear, and fear of the unknown. Our future is unknown. It's a very unique situation in our history but it's also a unique opportunity to create a new civilization using the technology, understanding the technology. So, I am not afraid. I'm actually quite optimistic. And I feel that, through Techism, I want to basically speak to artists, and I want to say to my fellow artists, really consider putting aside the paintbrush and consider digital technology as a medium and how to express what it means to be human and to express humanity in our future society, in our current society, and scripting future culture now. We have to do this, because if we don't, there's going to be a major void of humanity in our society. And we need as many artists as possible participating in this movement, just with the awareness that you are contributing to culture, to inspiration, to hope, to transcending boundaries. Being creative is an act of rebellion. And I'm not saying I'm not an anarchist, okay? But what I am is a person who supports freedom of expression and free will. And what other the world to retain that sense of independence, to retain that sense of who you are in a world that is becoming more and more confusing. And through algorithms, through artificial intelligence, we are supposed to be more and more streamlined and controlled and manipulated. So this is what Techism is about. But it's also on another side. I want Mark Zuckerberg. I want Elon Musk. I want all the major tech companies to recognize the fact that art is important for their futures too, and the future of the world, because their technologies are majorly disrupting our societies. And if we don't have artists and philosophy and culture that's facilitating, a more humane transition into a new society, there's going to be more and more conflict. And that can become very dangerous for everyone.
Now, how is one of your pieces made? Do you use a computer or a light board? What do you use?
I use a computer. I start with raw images of LED lights, and then I use those images and I manipulate them using software. I use different kinds of software, and I never, like, it took me like 4 years to really hone this method that I created. Like, I'm self-taught. And so I basically just, create a work, and I sometimes, because I'm in the zone, I don't know exactly what steps I took to create that piece, so I can't say that I can ever repeat that again. It's very, it's a process of discovery, and, the piece would just appear after I'm doing all kinds of shifts and making all these decisions of, changing color or saturation or all these different options that are available to me through the software, and it just appears to me, and then I stop, and that's how I create.
Now, what does your art mean?
So my art, I hope, and it's my intention, that when you stand in front of one of my pieces, that it is a space of meditation. It is a space that sort of is almost bringing you into a state of pure consciousness, and that it is healing and therapeutic. That is what I hope my art translates.
How do you define street art?
Street art is basically art that is influenced by the environment in an urban setting. So, it's all of that sort of like stimuli of like the city, the people, the styles, the music, the smells, the sirens, everything, the hustle. All of that is translated into street art. It is, I think art is always sort of like the pulse, reading the pulse of a place and a time and a space. So it's all about these things. It is what's happening now. It's putting your fingers on the pulse. That's street art. That's all art, but street art in particular is urban.
Do you think it's important for artists to get outside?
Depends. Not all art is the same. It really depends on the artist. That's not important. I think that what's important is that the artist has their own, finds their voice and finds their purpose. It could be that you're an artist that is like a monk, that is, very happy, just creating amazing worlds, in your own space. But of course, you need social interaction. You need to get out, but there are a lot of introvert artists out there, and it takes this diversity and this expression of all kinds of human experiences. What's important. So, yeah, I mean, to each their own. I mean, whatever works for you works for you. But if you meditate, it'll take it to the next level.
Now, do you work alone or with other people?
I work with other people all the time. I can't do this alone. I need a world-class digital printing experts, technicians, engineers. I'm always constantly working with other people, very talented people, and that's also the beauty of what I do. I mean, I'm especially with Techism, like as a painter, I'm not particularly an expert in digital, but I will seek out engineers and technicians who want to work with me to create beautiful things. So it's a wonderful collaborative process, and that's what Techism is about too. It's about also creating that dialogue and that bridge between artists and technology through those collaborations between individuals. Great minds.
How do you find spaces to show off your work?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. How do you find spaces to show off your work?
Oh gosh, there's always spaces. I just had an exhibition. You know, it's basically exhibitions. I do art fairs, exhibitions. I install in my home studio my work. You know, it's you know, I what I want to do though, I really want to. I'm going to start actually some public art Techism projects with other artists, and get technology companies involved, and I want to create really captivating, interactive and collaborative artwork projects for the public. That's my goal right now. That's what I'm working on.
Do you think there's a lack of art available for the masses?
In terms of acquiring art, like collecting art, or access to?
Access to, excuse me. Maybe more like access to.
Well, you know, there are a lot of, it could be better. There could be more. I think that there's always a shortage. I think that you should have it everywhere. I think that there definitely should be more art out there. And it shouldn't be restricted to museums or institutions or galleries. I think that, you know, artists can become more creative and entrepreneurial and, you know, organized and collaborate. I think that getting art out there is important. And, you know, especially when you're trying to get people excited about technology as an art form. Yes, there's nothing out there, hardly anything. I mean, it's almost zero as far as I'm concerned. So there's not enough. And I definitely want to see more, and that's why I'm pushing so hard.
How do you earn a living?
I sell my art. I have very key collectors who are very supportive of my work and my vision. So my core collectors, and I'm selling work, doing shows, doing fairs. I'm going to do the Scope Art Show in Miami during Miami Basel this December. I had a solo show in New York, which was very successful, and in Paris this past year. Just did a show in Toronto. So I'm constantly doing shows. I also did Basel and Art Pampelon and Saint-Tropez. Who are very supportive. And and I have a big Techism exhibition coming up in Jacksonville for Art Republic, which is an incredible platform for promoting artists and you know, creating you know, this Techism movement and supporting it through you know, through partnerships with companies who see the vision, who see the importance of promoting Techism.
Now, do you participate in festivals or artist group credit activities?
I do. I participated in the Nuit Blanche Festival just this past weekend. It's sort of like an all-nighter night walk in Toronto that's organized every year with over 100 artists participating. It's a great street art and also sort of like public art free festival. It's fantastic. I want to do more. I mean, Art Republic is like an art festival, if you will, that's organized in Jacksonville. So yes, I do, and I want to do more.
What are your goals for yourself for the future?
Well, my goal is basically to promote Techism worldwide, to connect with incredible artists, you know, any artists really that want to, that really feel that this is the right fit for them, that they feel galvanized or motivated to communicate in the using technology. And also I want to create partnerships with major technology companies and create worldwide art installations. Yes, just get really active in how to use this technology as an art form, study it, create workshops, you know, really start a dialogue and start panel discussions with leading technology entrepreneurs and scientists. You know, where is the society going? This is really my passion and what I want to do.
Do you think it's harder for a woman to succeed as an artist than a man?
Oh gosh, I think that I was born in the right time period. I think that, I think that nowadays it's not an obstacle for me. I think that, I think this is a good time for me to be here. And I guess since, everything else is going through disruption, why not the whole female artist, prejudice? Why not break through that? I mean, I think the theme, the theme for this whole new century is going to be disruption, okay? And it's got to be on all levels. And I think it would be a very good, positive thing too. Why not have a female leader in the art world? Why not? I mean, if Angela Merkel can be, one of the leaders of the free world, then, I can do what I do.
You already are. You're already doing it. It's great.
Thank you.
Now, what do you like to do for fun?
God, see this is the thing. What I do for my living is fun. I love what I do. I'm blessed. So I pretty much fill up most of my days working, and then of course I spend a lot of time with my kids. So if I'm not with my kids, I'm working or traveling for my work, and I also keep a very balanced lifestyle. I mean, I'm always meditating. I exercise regularly, and I enjoy dancing. I love to dance. And I love to travel. I love to read, of course. These are, but, for the most part, what I love to do is work.
And you made it clear that being human is so important to you, your work, and your life.
100%. I think that look at the way people are treating each other now. Okay, you've got, these dating apps, for example, where you're swiping people left and right. There's no humanity in that. What the hell? You're just another name or a face. I mean, this is what but it actually affects how we treat people, and it actually does affect, our standards of behavior, which is not a good thing. Okay, so, I definitely want, art and philosophy to be, really have a strong voice in this context, and open people's eyes and open their hearts. Open their hearts. Because it's like, our behaviors really dictate who we are. And if we continue behaving this way, in an inhumane way, I'm really afraid that our society will become like a fascist society in the future.
What is something in life or work that you haven't done yet but always wanted to do?
Wow.
You seem to do mostly what you want to do, so that one's hard. Right now I'm doing what I want to do. That's it. Yeah, I'm doing what I want to do, and I want to do it better every day. I cannot say that I have really truly succeeded until, I think I have made that broader impact with my activism around the world, and I just want to see people understand that we could be better, we could do better, and we can be better human beings on Earth, and we could use technology as a tool for that. Is there a place you want to travel where you haven't been yet?
Love to go to Africa. I would love that, and I would love to go to Bhutan. Haven't been there yet. Those are the two key places that are really exotic to me, that I really, really want to see. Those are on my next bucket list.
where can people see your work?
Okay, so right now, let's see. In Toronto, I still have the show going on. And the next big show will be Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Florida, the first week of November, November 2nd until the 12th, is the Art Republic event that's citywide. And we're going to have a huge Techism show, the first in the world, with 4 amazing artists. Myself, Miguel Chevalier, who is an incredible artist out of Paris, who's been doing this since 1975. He's a pioneer. Rio, who's an incredibly gifted video artist, and Fabian Forban, who's another incredible video artist based out of Berlin. Rio is from New York. So this is a very exciting show because it's basically going to showcase for the first time the philosophy of Techism and what it's about, and we're very excited about it. And my show also in Paris is happening at Galerie Francois Léage near the Champs-Élysées on Rue de Faubourg Saint-Honoré. It's a wonderful show that it started in May and it's closing later this month. I have to be there for the closing event during FIAC. Now this show is a dialogue between my work, which is avant-garde, in dialogue with 18th century French antiques. And the show is called Voyage de Lumière, which is the voyage of light, the voyage of inspiration, if you will, throughout the ages. And now, going forward, we also have the Scope Art Show in Miami during Miami Basel, which is going to be during the first week of December. So I will be there in Miami exhibiting with Dean Borghi Fine Arts. So that's basically what's happening right now.
Do you have a website?
I do. KristaKimStudio.com, Krista with a K. I'm also on Instagram, KRISTA.Kim, Krista Kim. And I'm also on Facebook, Krista Kim Studio. Google me, you'll find me. I'm on Google.
Are there any charities you wish to mention that you support?
Charities?
Or public anything along those lines?
Well, actually, not officially, but on a personal level, yes. A girlfriend of mine started a wonderful art therapy program for displaced refugee Syrian children, and I believe that's in Greece. So she's traveling to Greece. She's from New York, Aisha. I forget the name of the actual therapy program, but she's doing an amazing job by helping children, heal through art, express themselves. Aisha Turgut, she's in New York, and let's see if I can find the program. Oh my goodness, I don't have it right now. It's on my Facebook.
You can email it.
I'll email it to you. But yes, I promoted that on my Facebook, and I supported it personally. I think it's a wonderful endeavor, definitely.
Is there anything you'd wish to add to this interview that you want people to know about you or your work?
I'm sorry, it's called Bridge of Dreams. The Bridge of Dreams, empowering refugee children through the healing power of art. Yeah, so I don't really care about people knowing much about me. Actually, I'm not really interested in becoming famous. But I want people to know, I want people to really pay attention to their behaviors when it comes to adopting new technology like social media. Do you feel that you're connected, that you're being authentic? Do you feel the void? Do you feel that society is becoming less and less empathetic? Do you feel that people are afraid? The world is changing so quickly, and I want people to become more aware of, these changes, these social changes. And artists especially, I want you to become aware that you can contribute to a better society, to make the world a better place, to create future culture that is humane. now, and that you should take action now. And I'm always available for discussion. People can reach me by email. I am very open to talk to people, artists, anyone about this profound new world that we're living and how Techism can help create a balance.
If you were to be able to ask one question to some of the technological greats, like the Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, or Elon Musk, as you mentioned earlier, what would you want to say to them?
I would say be open-minded and consider the importance that art has in society. Don't ignore it, because after all, you are basically affecting people, and you're affecting consciousness and culture, humanity, empathy, the expression of what it means to be human. Using the technology is very important. Preserving free will, preserving creativity, that connection to something greater than ourselves is important for the future of humanity. And through the arts, it can be expressed that art can save us also.
Well, I think this has been wonderful. You've been great to talk to, Krista. You're so smart.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no. Oh, geez, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you so much.
I love that. I think already are.
Pardon me?
You know about everything.
No,
there's always more to know, but you know at least a little bit about everything, which is inspiring.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed our chat. You asked all the right questions, and I hope it resonates with your listeners. Thank you.
I think it will. Would you mind emailing me some photos that you like, photos of yourself, photos of your work, anything?
100%. I absolutely will. I'll do that right now. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Thank you. And if you have anything you want to add, please don't hesitate.
I think I pretty much said everything I need to say.
I think we covered a lot of ground.
Wonderful. It's been so great speaking to you. And
it has been so good too.
Wonderful.
I hope to see one of your shows sometime soon.
Yeah, I'd love to meet you. Definitely, I will do a show in New York. Definitely first quarter of next year.
Okay.
And but I will keep you posted. I'm doing a show in New York every year.
Oh, perfect. Well, I definitely will see you then.
Wonderful, fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.